Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia and I'm the owner of Alicia Be Creative. Today's tutorial is this beautiful, hauntingly dark romance style tumbler. It is perfect for those of us who are into those dark, spooky vibes all year round, or for those of us who want a special cup for the spooky upcoming season. So everything I use, of course, will be listed and linked down in the description box, but let's go ahead and jump right into today's tutorial. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to take you guys kind of on a journey, we'll call it, into how I sometimes create and come up with ideas for tumblers. So this is my haul from Flynn Sister Supply Shop. I got a little bit of everything. I got more epoxy, I got some UVDTF, I got some vinyl, I got some rhinestones, and I have been in this weird creative space for myself. And so sometimes what I end up doing is treating myself to more craft supplies to hopefully jumpstart my creative flow. And that is kind of what I did. I kind of just, went a little crazy and picked some things that really were exciting for me or really kind of made me stop and stare. And I picked up some of those items here, and I'm going to show you how I kind of pair these together and how we're going to kind of put together the aesthetics for a few cups that I'm going to be working on in the future tutorials. So I got a bunch of vinyl. One of these is a haunting romance vinyl, which is just absolutely adorable. It's got like very much like dark romance book vibes, which I absolutely love a good dark romance book. So right up my alley. And that is the cup we're going to work on today. But what you're watching me do right now is kind of just pick out those elements that just really stick out to me and kind of putting them and pairing them together in a way that I can start to kind of see what my end cup might look like. Now, I might not have the idea as to like what the overall cup will completely look like, but I know what elements at least that I'm going to want on my cup by kind of pairing these together. And I do this kind of quite often. Honestly, if I go through my phone right now, I probably would find lots of pictures in my phone of like different cup palettes or like inspiration palettes that I've put together, and I'm like, oh, I want to get that in a cup, but I don't necessarily have time in that moment. So I definitely have the few of these in my phone, but this is sometimes what I'll do to just kind of get myself ready to create. So of course, once I've got the elements that I know I'm going to want to use, I of course need to go to my glitter wall, and we've got to pick out the perfect glitters to match with the aesthetic or vibe that all of these cups are giving. Now in this tutorial, I'm only going to be showing you one of these tumblers for this specific tutorial, but I will definitely make sure to post the other ones that I did finish, the other one at least that I have finished so far from the three that were kind of putting the palettes together currently. I will definitely make sure to post that in the community tab so you can check out that cup as well. I think that one came out really great, just as amazing as this one did. So of course, now we've got to go through and pick the perfect color. What I will tell you about having this massive glitter wall, even though I really have consolidated, I really have cut back, I've destashed quite a bit of glitter because I was pushing like probably 300 to 400 bottles, maybe even more, honestly. And it's a lot, right? It's a lot to decide and look through to pick the perfect color. Sometimes I just will get in like this like glitter shock of like, okay, I don't know what glitter to use because there's just so many choices. So even though now that I have, definitely lessened the amount of glitters that I have on my shelves, it still can be very overwhelming to like pick the perfect glitters, especially because I haven't used every single glitter on this shelf more than maybe once or twice for some of them. So for sure, sometimes those glitters don't always like come right to the forefront of my mind. So I'm always spending a lot of time kind of picking out the glitters that I think are best going to match for the aesthetic that I envisioned for the cups. So I was finally able to find some glitters that I thought would be a good match for the three palettes we're kind of putting together for these three cups that will hopefully be, future projects that you guys will see the end results for. And once we've done that, I did prep off camera a 24-ounce plump, and then I spray painted it just a matte black color, just to have a base coat under this, since we're going to be using a metallic like tungsten, like titanium charcoal style color, so not black necessarily. The dark base was perfect for this. We probably could have gone right over stainless steel, but I'm someone who just prefers to base paint. I was prepping other cups anyway, so doing a quick spray paint of this made sense. So the first glitter we're going to go in with, we're using 2 glitters today. This is Glock from Batty Glitter. This is a chunky, again, like that titanium tungsten, like metallic metal color, so not a true black. So that's the chunky that I'm going to lay down first, really kind of sparsely, but enough to really give it some extra sparkle. Then over top of this, we're going to go over this with Peachy Olive Glitter's Smog. This is one of my all-time favorite colors. This is a complete OG color from the Peachy Olive Glitter collection for sure, and it is one of my faves from the glitters that I have from Peachy Olive for sure. So once that is glittered, I should say, we'll let that dry. I'm using gloss Mod Podge, which does take longer, I should say, to dry over the matte Mod Podge, but it's perfect when you're going to be taking your time to glitter, or you're going to be using more than one color of glitter on a cup to give you more working time before it dries. So once I did all that, I spray sealed it, and then of course got it under epoxy. I did a couple coats of epoxy. I think I ended up doing 2 coats of epoxy, and then this was pretty smooth. The only attention I needed, of course, was the top and bottom rim, just to remove anything that was, uneven or rough, those rough areas and whatnot. So we're going to use this Haunting Romance vinyl. I think this is Haunting Romance 1, I think, from this bundle. This came with 3 vinyl sheets, and then it came with 2 UVDTF like decal sheets, like element sheets. So that was the bundle for this. And of course, I will link all of the items that I got in my haul, all of the items that I'm using specifically for this cup down in the description box, as well as any discount codes that I have to save you so that you can recreate this cup, maybe recreate something a little bit different, or just go shop Flynn Sister Supply shop website and snag some creative goodies of your own. So the first thing I did with that vinyl is I decided that for this 24-ounce plump that I wanted kind of a third of the cup to be just the vinyl wrap all the way around. So this cup and some of the other cups that I have been working on have actually really been inspired by Myra Makes It. So she's been doing some really beautiful, beautiful, breathtaking cups with it reminds me of like not quite a collage cup, but almost. It's kind of hard to explain it. Like when I think of it, it reminds me very much of when I used to do scrapbooking. It's very much like adding all of these different elements right to your sheet to really just make the images the pictures that you're trying to showcase pop. It really just gives me that like when I was 16 years old scrapbooking type vibe. And that's kind of the aesthetic that I have loved since seeing Myra do this in a cup version. And I just feel like it makes so much sense. And it's so much different from doing what we typically do with glitter and vinyl, which is like do a V-split or do a full vinyl wrap and then add glitter on top, or do stripes, do vinyl stripes and then have glitter. So like I very much am always into what's something different that I can do that it's not the typical. Don't get me wrong, I love all those other vinyl designs, but I've done them so often that it gets boring, you know what I mean? It feels like it's the same cup over and over, even though it's different images and different supplies and whatnot, but it just seems like a repeat. So I'm really like full-fledged falling in love with this style that definitely was inspired by Myra's cups that she's been making recently. So you'll definitely have to check out her Instagram because she has come up with some amazing like cup styles and things with just different elements, UVDTF vinyl, washi tape and whatnot. So definitely check that out as well. So once I've gotten all my vinyl places done, so I've got the vinyl on the bottom, and then I cut out like 2 larger rectangles with some of the imagery on the vinyl that I really wanted to stand out on the cup. Once I've gotten those sections on here, that's all we're going to do for vinyl. And now comes sort of what I would say is kind of the longer process for the cup, which is doing all of the line work. This I feel like makes a cup just look a million times more breathtaking. I don't know what it is, but it's like when you get a picture, I don't know, when you get a picture, right, but you find the perfect frame for that picture, that it just makes everything kind of go together. And that's what I feel like washi tape does for vinyl cups, in the sense that, you know, you get all of this sort of like washi tape edging and things like that, and it just makes it kind of changes almost the entire vibe for the cup and the entire look, because you go into it and it looks one way, and then once you get all of those layers on, like, it really does make everything just stand out even more so than when you just had your glitter and vinyl. So I started with, I think this was like it was one of the thicker washi tapes. I'll have to look at exactly what size this is, but then I went in with like the neck size, which is the typical sizes that you'll get of washi tape, that like you can find at Hobby Lobby. All of this washi tape, except for the pin striping tape that I have here, which is just nail tape from Amazon, all of the other washi tape pieces were either from Amazon or from Hobby Lobby. Those are typically my go-to places for getting my washi tape or nail tape for these kinds of designs. So I did 3 sort of vinyl line stripings, if that makes sense. So we did, you know, a larger, thicker strip. Then we did the traditional size washi tape, which was that sort of like opaque or opal style washi tape, and then over that we put that thin nail tape right down the center, which is just nail tape in white, and it really makes everything stand out. So now to continue to even add more to this, again, I envision this as like calling it like a scrapbook style cup. Obviously, if you have a better idea for it, definitely let me know. I feel like I'm really not scoring big with these names lately for like cup styles and things, but you know, adding some UVDTF elements from this bundle, I feel like just really ties everything together, because you're still getting the vinyl, you're still getting the glitter in the background, but all of it, one piece isn't overtaking the entire cup. I love that you're just seeing so many elements, but they all are like shining in their own right. It's kind of hard to explain, but I hope it makes sense and hope that's coming through in the video here. But I just love how everything's just purposefully placed. It makes sense. Like, it stands out where it is. It doesn't blend into the background. You can still very much appreciate all of the elements, and it's like looking at a different cup every time you turn it around. Like, you see a different element or a different piece that stands out a little bit differently as you turn the cup, which is just, that is what I think I love most about this kind of style of creating with vinyl and UVDTF and glitter and whatnot, is that you really do just see so many different elements coming together. But, you know, I feel like you just see something new every time you look at the cup. So I've added a bunch of elements here. Again, I'm going to link everything. This sheet that I got here came from a different bundle, so I will, of course, make sure to link that as well. But I added some of those too to pull in that white line tape, since we did have that nail tape there. I wanted to make sure that that was present, although there's a bit of that, of course, present in the actual background vinyl. I wanted to make sure that white was a little bit more obvious and present. So I think these white elements, which were very similar to the darker elements that I had already used, really just help kind of pull some of that white nail tape to the forefront a little bit more. So once we've gotten all the elements that I am comfortable with adding, we're going to, of course, seal this. I always use Minwax polyacrylic. This is going to ensure that my washi tape nor my UVDTF create any issues for me in the final coats of epoxy, which is so important so that I don't have to continue to epoxy over and over and have a really thick cup. But once that's sealed, we'll go ahead and put that on the turner for 2 final coats of epoxy, and this is the final look. So I am in love with this style and design. I definitely will tell you that you're going to be seeing more of these, so stay tuned for that. But definitely let me know what you thought of today's tutorial down in the comment section. I love hearing from you, and I love seeing your comments. They make my day every Saturday. But thank you guys so much for watching today's tutorial, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!